Yo, what's going on, you guys? And welcome back to the Anime Plus podcast. This is your podcast for everything anime and anime related. And as always, I'm your boy Aray, and I'm with my guy Aunn. This is going to be a little bit of a different episode just because we usually post on Tuesdays. And I'll be honest, we didn't hold that commitment, and that's just because I've been sick. Owen's been committed, but it's me. I've been having a hard time, so whatever, man. It's fine. We're still posting this. We're gonna get this episode posted no matter what. And I know it's a few days late, but we are getting this episode out here before the week ends. So, anyways, man, we actually got a pretty cool one for you guys today. Obviously, there's been Vinland Saga season 2 that came out this recent spring season. And, we have some interesting thoughts on Vinland Saga. As one of our guests that actually pulled up on our last pod, or was it the pod before? 2 pods ago.
Yeah.
Measy, he called it Midland Saga. I don't know if we're gonna have the same thoughts as he did, but we're definitely gonna have some interesting thoughts on Vinland Saga. So let's start off with that. What do you think
Okay.
so far of the season?
Okay. First thing I want to say, shout out Aray. My boy has been sick. He's still popping out to the pod. He's a fucking warrior, bro. Let's fucking get it. Shout out to him. Prayers up to
Yeah,
him, bro.
man.
Let's go.
Loyal, man.
But fucking okay. So my boy Measy, 2 pods ago, he said we asked him what are his worst animes or what his least favorite animes, and he said he called it Midland Saga, right? Okay, so honestly, I watched the first season of Vinland Saga. Amazing, right? Great. And the main thing I loved about it was the fights, right? We had okay, just off rip, we had Tor's, original going off on like 50 dudes with just his hands, like amazing. And then from that we get great like basically you could say character development for the kid because he was traumatized in the beginning. Like Thorfinn was traumatized. That kind of led him to become, the demon he was. And we saw him from like, getting his ass kicked to starting to like, kill one or two people and then get crazy enough to beat the like to verse the big dude that nobody else wanted to verse. I honestly forgot his name at the moment, but he was the you guys know what I'm talking about, the big
Thorkel, right? I
yeah,
think it was
Torkel,
Thor.
yeah, that dude basically. And but no one can fight the dude. The dude is too big. He literally takes out armies on his own. So the fact that Thorfinn could even fight him is just deadly, which makes him honestly one of the most powerful characters in the whole world at that point, in my opinion. But now we're getting to the second season, right? And I just don't like where it's heading. Like I don't like the passiveness. We just see like first of all, we start off with like it's bad funny because the dude's name is Anal, bro. like the way they say it, bro. I be fucking dying, bro. But yeah, so like
Yo,
it's
I
so
never noticed that.
like you know how like Japanese people, right? They don't say L, but they say R. So it's like every time I think about it like that, these dudes are low key trying to say anal. That shit is funny as fuck. But yeah, so we
Wait,
get
does your subtitles, like, how does your subtitles spell it?
E. I think it's EINAR. Yeah,
Right,
yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah. I don't know, just like the way it's said. Like I've heard it said so many times, bro. It's funny as fuck every time I hear it. I don't know why I had that as the first thing that came to mind, but it was. But okay, so we got his backstory, and I don't know if he's gonna play like okay. Right now we have what 10 episodes. If he like okay, I want it to go either two ways. I want either Aner to take the torch. Maybe Thorfinn actually teaches him how to fight, and then he could become the next demon. I mean, that's something I wouldn't mind seeing. But the thing is, we saw Thorfinn become a demon, and now this dude is literally just a slave. Like we got Aner's backstory, right? I don't know what it's gonna like equate to in the future, to be honest. Like it was okay, but it was like honestly, okay, what it was basically showing the other side of Thorfinn's, his pillaging and whatnot. It showed like the other side. But we're used to like the fights. Like that's what my main thing about Vinland Saga was the fights and the gore. And now we're just getting like he just lost all hope in reality. He's a slave. I mean, I get where he's coming from. He killed a lot of people, obviously he's feeling guilty. But bro, we're not here for a fucking sob story. I'm trying to like see some fucking Vikings fight. You know what I mean? What do you think about that?
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. It's like the story is doing a whole 180. If we want to talk about character development, and I know me and you talked about this a little bit earlier, so
Yeah.
we're gonna save that for later in the pod. But I don't really like Thorfinn's character development. Like, yeah, I get that, he's a slave now. He's regretting his pillaging and all the stuff that he did in the past. But still, it's like we all want to see that badass character and we want to see what we saw in the first season. And I think a lot of people really just enjoyed watching that. And to see him kind of fall off and become who he is, like he barely stood his ground against I think his name was Snake, and that, or
Oh
not
yeah.
Snake, but Snake's like henchman.
Yeah.
He
Heavy.
barely stood his
Oh
ground,
yeah, yeah,
right?
that dude. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
he
you
didn't
know
do
he
anything. He was just getting sliced. Yeah, like
right.
it's like okay, so the dude has lost all morale to even live at this point. This dude is literally like, I'm not even trying to be fucked up to Thorfinn because, bro, shout out his season one, like he was elite. But bro, my man's an NPC now. Like they literally got the dude, like straight up, they got this dude freaking being a slave, getting beat the shit out of. When honestly, he can probably take out every single person on that farm without getting a hit. He could take out everybody. But like I think okay, so okay, you've killed a lot of people, right? But the thing is, you still have the skill that you should use for the greater good. And I'm not saying go kill and pillage people, but bro, you can be like a fucking crazy like person in the army, and you know how Batman does it. Like he doesn't really
right.
kill anybody, but he just knocks them unconscious or gets them like almost near death or whatever. If he's feeling bad, he could kind of do that, but like I don't know. It's just getting kind of mid now. Like as Measy said, it is like the second season. It's Midland Saga. I'm not getting any joy from it. We're pretty much just getting like NPC vibes from the dude. I don't know how he's gonna turn it around. If he turns it around by the end of the second season, I'll give him props. But for the future of what I'm seeing, it's just bro. We guys character development from he was basically leveling up as a warrior, he was leveling up constantly throughout the battles, and then now he's just at such a decline where it's we don't want to see the main character just like mope the whole time because like I always like try comparing him to his dad or whatnot. I know that's not fair for him, but bro, his dad was a fucking beast. He was probably the most OP character in the whole show. And then the thing is, he was following in his footsteps, which was great, which we loved, honestly. And now that he's just like, like even that last episode, it just I thought something was gonna like take this a spoiler alert for the last episode. Like I'm not really gonna go into too much detail, but I really thought he was gonna come back to life with it, but he honestly did not come back to life. And if anything, he got worse. Like yeah. I'm not gonna spoil anything too much, but let's just say he got worse. But what do you think about that? Like his whole character development in the second season and how he's really just an NPC.
That's funny. I was gonna say the same thing. Like, I was waiting for that one badass moment where something in his mind kind of like ticked him. You know what I mean?
Say
And
like
he
a
just,
snap, right? Yeah.
yeah, where he just went and like bodied everybody in the farm, like all the assholes that were there.
Thanks.
He did have that one punch, but he got his ass beat, bro. And Aner or Ano, whatever you want to call him, that dude is supposed to be like he's supposed to be the NPC. You know what I mean? Like he's supposed to be that like kind of weak supporting character that like talks a big game, thinks he's strong. But he
Exactly.
was the one that beat everyone's ass, but not Thorfinn. Thorfinn was knocked out on his ass cold, bloodied up face. You could even see his eyeballs, like he was fucked up. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
literally the dude's just taking in pain for no reason at this point.
right. And it's
Like
kind of sad. Like you would think the main character would not get his ass beat like that after we've seen how OP and strong he was. You know what I mean? Like it's like he took all these steps forward and now he's back to square one and he's basically like his body's built, but he's basically still kind of like a weak shit. You know what I mean? Like now
exactly.
he's
Yeah.
weak mentally and like it looks like like fighting wise, he lost all the skill.
Yeah, like okay, so I don't okay, so personally I think that fighting wise, I don't think he's lost all his skill. I think that he's still like the beast that he is.
See, I agree, but it feels like he like where's his skill at? You know what I mean? Like he should not be getting knocked around by those guys. You know what I
No,
mean?
no, it's because I mean he just lost the will to fight. Like this dude literally just he just doesn't want to even hurt anybody, and it's just like yo, you. I get it. It's a drastic change. You're guilty. You're guilty for all the people that you've killed, but there's something about standing up and defending yourself. Like okay, so I'm kind of going to compare this with like One Piece. With remember the little arc with Luffy getting beat the shit out of by Bellamy, and then at the end, Bellamy just one shots him. Like Luffy just one shots Bellamy.
Yeah, yeah.
I kind of want something like that, right? And I was expecting something like that, especially in this last episode. I was like, because they had a basically like if not a flashback, but they had like a thought. Like he got like once he got unconscious, he got put into this realm, and it was this whole thing where like um who is that yeah Ashirad came, yeah, yeah,
Askeladd.
yeah. Basically, he came right, and you know how he was kind of the father figure. So basically, they had that whole little conversation, and I thought from that conversation he was gonna get up and he was gonna be like the fucking demon back to what he was. But bro, this dude became more of a puss, and he was like, "Yo, I'm not gonna touch anybody ever again." Like, bro, I'm just not fucking with it. I need to see how it goes. I'm honestly thinking about like not even watching it anymore if it doesn't get better
Yeah.
like pretty quickly. I don't know. It's just not my type.
You know what's crazy? On the
Mm.
opposite side of things, where remember Canute? He was like the biggest pussy.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Now
yeah,
he's the
yeah.
motherfucking badass. Like, I mean, I wouldn't say he's like a fighting type badass, but the things he did, like, and again, spoiler alert, like, obviously, make sure you guys are caught up or don't mind spoilers. But when he poisoned his brother, that was fucked.
Oh yeah, bro. Look, like it's kind of like the opposite of what's happening, right?
Right.
He is advancing without like physical strength, and we have on the other side we have Torfin that has like immense amount of physical strength, and he's just becoming like a useless piece of shit. To be honest, I'm not even trying to be like fucked up to the dude, but he's just honestly just getting me tight. But like my whole thing about that show was war, right? War is the main thing about that show. I want Torfin to be on the battlefield somehow, and the way we're at, like the episode, and the way it's like the plot's going right now, it doesn't seem like he's ever gonna get on the battlefield. Like I need Torfin on the battlefield. Like he's just a demon, and that's what we need to. That's what we want to see. Like I just don't think he's not built to be a slave. That's just it.
No, no, I'm totally with you. You know what's like. I have an opinion on this, and I'm not sure I'm going in the right direction.
What's up?
But both of us, like, we don't really watch a lot of seinen anime. This is probably one of the first ones for you. I've
Oh,
seen a
okay.
few. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
obviously, there's not like a bunch of shonen tropes in there, and this might be one where it's a little bit catering towards like a more mature, older audience, where it's not always good versus bad. One and two, there's a lot more abstract concepts in there.
Yeah. hundred
I don't know
percent.
if yeah, yeah. So I don't know if this has to do with that. You know what I mean? In the sense that the storytelling is going to be a lot less generic, I guess. You know what I mean? It's going to be more advanced. Not
I
that the
mean,
other stories are not, but like I guess, like yeah, yeah, yeah. Go ahead, keep going.
like
My bad.
okay, so I mean, I get what you're saying for sure. I agree with it completely. That's what I'm saying. Like if they go okay, so if this is just like a little like dip that he has, and then he gets really fucking crazy, he goes all out, he does something crazy at the end, then I'll say like that's great by the author what he did, bringing him down and then bringing him super high up. That's like amazing. But from what I'm seeing at the moment, I cannot make those type of predictions. I just see like the way it's headed, it doesn't look like that. But obviously, anime is all about the plot twist and whatnot. So I mean, I can see that happening for sure.
In my opinion, one of the biggest letdowns is the fact that Mappa took this over from Wit, right? And obviously, Wit does a pretty good job, but we
Yeah,
all know how good of a job Mappa does. So like the fact that that happened, and not being a manga reader and knowing what was going to happen in this series, I thought there was going to be a tons of action and that type of stuff, but like
100%. Yeah, Mappa goes
it's
crazy on the fights.
right, man, and we just haven't seen it, man, and it sucks to have such a good studio and really nothing to get back from it.
Yeah, literally. I kind of want to talk about like I kind of want to segue this into another blonde character that I've been watching as of recently a lot. And you just put me on to Tokyo Revengers. I binged through the whole thing, honestly. But the concept of Tokyo Revengers itself is great. And I think Takamichi is kind of the opposite, like straight up, the exact opposite of Thorfinn. Like, we got a guy, right, that has no physical strength. He's getting his ass beat because he can't fight. But he's still trying to fight as much as he can. Like, he's still trying to do as much as he can, but he can't do shit. That's the whole premise of it, right? But we got Thorfinn over here who can do everything. He can do whatever he wants physically to these dudes, but he has no resolve. And on the other hand, we have Takamichi that has like the greatest resolve ever, right? He's versing like the most OP characters. He's honestly just getting beat the shit out of until Mikey and Dragon come. Like, he's just really getting beat the shit out of, but he's doing it for a pure like reason. And what I'm trying to like say is like they're they're using their fighting abilities and their power both in very different ways, and it's because of the way like their emotions feel, right? So we have Takamichi that is doing it to save somebody, right? He knows that he's weak, but he's doing anything in his power to save his girl or to save, and it's not even his girl anymore. The more he goes back in time, the more people he has to save. So it's like there's a lot of pressure on his shoulder, but he takes the pressure and he fights his way through. And Thorfinn, like, okay, so he had a lot of pressure. He did fight his way through, but now we're at a point where he's done. He's like his morale is beat, and he's literally the exact opposite of Takamichi. He's getting beat the shit out of for no reason. Takamichi's getting beat the shit out of because to save people. What do you think about like Takamichi and Tokyo Revengers within itself?
Yeah, so going back to what we were talking about earlier, like the steps in character development between these two are just completely polar opposites. Like, obviously first season Vinland Saga, Thorfinn was like an avenger, you know what I mean? Like, he wanted to avenge his father, he wanted to like kind of murk people off and get stronger so that he can kill Askeladd and all that. And then the steps of his direction in season 2 for his character development, he's basically I don't know, man. He's like, what's the right word? I guess he's descending from that mentality. He's not. He doesn't want to be an Avenger. He wants to be like a pacifist, man. He doesn't really want to do anything. He just wants to be free, which he was free from, like, to begin with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like,
yeah,
he
exactly.
doesn't really like his character development is not something that we like to see in like anime main characters. I guess you can say like there is potential for like like a setback is a huge like setup, you know what I mean, where he could have a huge comeback, you know what I mean.
Yeah,
Like, there's
exactly.
potential for
Yeah.
that, which I'm hoping happens. I'm pretty sure everyone else is hoping that it happens. Obviously there's got to be that, because I think that in storytelling that's one of the biggest and like most important concepts that really makes a story great, is when like a character has like a setback and they turn out like it makes them stronger. Like, obviously the whole Luffy thing, where Ace, I'm not gonna say it because just in case if you live under a rock, you know what I mean. But
exactly, bro. If you have not heard this part of One Piece, go watch it. Like, I don't know what you're doing. Straight up, bro.
Yeah, but basically something happens to Luffy's brother, and yeah, that made Luffy like a million times stronger. You know what I mean? So I'm waiting for that to happen with Orphan. And then on the other side of things, you got Takamichi, who was basically, a good for nothing. He worked at the video store, had nothing to do. And he kind of changed all that because he had a reason to fight. So not only that, but like one side where Thorfinn's like emotionless, and then Takamichi is like super emotional, with all that crying that he does and all that. You know what I mean? So it's like it's actually kind of crazy that these two characters have completely opposite like character development steps and personalities.
Yeah, I think you were talking about their emotions. I think that's like the main factor on why they're so alike, but they're so different, right? So their emotions are the things that are dictating this whole thing. Like, Takamichi's emotions are actually crazy, and he actually knows how to kind of, what do you call it? Like he knows how to indulge in his emotions. He knows how to use his emotions for the greater good. And we have somebody like Thorfinn, right? He grew up on the battlefield his whole life, and right now is the first time he's actually ever feeling emotion. It's actually crazy. Like he's learning a lot from Aner. He's like a lot of the emotions that Aner went through, he kind of like portrays on him, as in he's been pillaged, he's been, his parents have been, killed, sister's been killed.
Yo, you know what just hit me?
What's up?
So Anna's like the supporting character, right? So in the other universe where we're talking about like Tokyo Revengers, Mikey is a supporting character and he's emotionless. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like
Ooh.
one side has that
Oh,
emotionless character, side character, and one has that emotional side character. So
okay.
that's
Okay.
another way to look at it.
Let me elaborate on that real quick. So, I mean, I love that you brought the similarities between the side characters, and it's like kind of a parallel between Takemichi and Thorfinn because, okay, so the side characters, right? We have two people. We have Mikey who can fight, and then we have Ader who cannot fight, right? And we have one guy that's emotional, right? And then Ader, and then we have one guy that's emotionless, and it's literally a flip between the main characters and the side characters. And I think Takemichi, the way Takemichi is to Mikey is the same way Aner is to Thorfinn. But I think Thorfinn, the thing is Thorfinn, he needs more. He needs more of a push. Okay, so the dude, right, has been on the battlefield his whole life. He does not know what emotions are. The only emotions the dude knows is that, bro, I've only seen death, right? First of all, I've only seen death. I've seen my dad die in front of me. That's traumatic as fuck. Like at this point, this dude has only seen death, and he needs someone to kind of bring him back to regularhood, you could say. And then we have Mikey, like he's seen the same thing technically, right? He's seen his brother get killed by his own gang members, right? By his own boys, by his own, like, basically brothers. And from that point, he gets really emotionless. And I think Takamichi is there. Like, Takamichi is a good for nothing. Why is he in that gang? Like, he's not really, like, the dude is now like a commander in the gang. Like, how? The dude is literally a freaking wimp that no one, like that can't be anybody, to be honest. But he's that support. He is that role for Mikey. He's not support, but I'm saying he is that support for Mikey, as in the mental support for Mikey, the same way Ainer is for um Thorfinn. And that's like a great, like, it's kind of crazy how both these shows, they have such similarities, but then they have such contrasts. And the way it works is just kind of crazy.
Yo, so let me ask you something before we wrap up this episode.
Yeah.
So obviously, we both really enjoyed season one of Vinland Saga. Season two, I mean, I can assume by the way you kind of talked about it, you don't really like it, right?
I'm giving it a 4.
You're gonna give it a four, right? And
I'm
I'm
giving it a
kind of in the
4.
same boat with you. Like, yeah, I mean, it's been kind of enjoyable, but at the same time, I'm still waiting for that, that
Okay,
next
so
step.
yeah, exactly. So if he gets that comeback that we're talking
Hmm.
about,
Right.
bumping it to an 8 or a 7,
Nice,
right?
nice.
Straight up. But if it doesn't, it might go down to a 3, like straight up. Like,
Hmm.
I'm not even trying to trash on Vinland Saga. It's just, the thing is, right? When you make season 1 so good, you cannot make season 2 shitty, because our expectations are already so high that, like, if you bring it down, we're gonna give you an even worse rating than it deserves. But that's like literally the opposite for Tokyo Revengers for me. Like, I'll give Tokyo Revengers a good 7, 8 now, right now, because he, like, okay, so the way season 2 ended, there's still so much, like, there's so much that to expect. There's so much that we got. Like, everything is running so smoothly. I think the way the pacing goes within Tokyo Revengers 2 is very, very good. It's like we get like new characters, we get new gangs, we get new fights every, like, couple, every other episode, or every episode. It's just, it's great. And out of the two blondes, I honestly think the weaker blonde Takemichi is winning at this point. Well, that's just me.
Damn. Yeah, so you
Yeah.
kind of answered my question. I was going to ask you, which series you like more and which one you like better for season 2. But you kind of
Okay,
answered my question.
okay. So for season 2 alone,
Hmm.
I like Tokyo Revengers better. But for season 1, you got me with Vinland Saga for sure. Yeah. Like Vinland Saga season 1 is not losing. Like it was actually good. Great fights, great story. It was such a good build up. Like everything was great. And honestly, Tokyo Revengers was good too, but it just didn't have that caliber of. Okay, so there's a lot of patches in Tokyo Revengers that I still have questions for. Like, how the fuck is Mikey this strong? Who the fuck trained him? How the fuck is Racken this strong? Like, we need to know this shit. Why are the captains OP as fuck? Like, how are these guys
Seriously,
13 looking like they're like
where are the
30?
parents? They
Literally.
got no parents, dead ass.
Where are the parents? How are these delinquents out and about? Where the fuck are the cops? Like, yo, there's mad questions that I have for Tokyo Revengers, but that's why I can't like put it over Vinland Saga. But then again, I also do love the fighting, and I do love like okay, so you know me, I don't like characters just being OP just off rip, like like Gojo and like there's a lot of characters I just don't like just being OP for no reason, right? Like to the point where like nobody can defeat them unless it's like 100 people. Like that's what Mikey is to me. Like the dude is just OP, and we don't
Right.
know. Like, and it's not even like the dude's like 19, 20, or he's been in competitions or this that. Like he's a regular. He's actually a below average 12-year-old in that world. Like she's very below average in height, physicality, and all that. But yet he's a dog when it comes to fighting. I mean, honestly, I love that about him that he's so small, but he's so like devastating. But bro, how the fuck did that make sense? Come on now.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you. Like, yeah. Wait, honestly though, like when you compare it, like Vinland Saga is okay. Yeah, there are some exaggerations and whatnot, but like it's so like it seems pretty realistic, right? Like the way they
Yeah.
do war and all that stuff. So I like that aspect. But yeah, man. Any closing thoughts before we end this pod?
Closing thoughts are honestly, Measy, you took it on this one. Season 2 is called Midland Saga 2. Season 2. Cannot argue with that right now. And shout out Measy, bro.
Damn, bro, that's crazy. That's the first time I think he's ever hit, man. Not played.
My boy, bro. I think
Yeah,
that's it though. I think that sums it all up, to be
yeah.
honest.
All right,
So,
guys. We appreciate you guys for listening to the pod. I know this one came out a little bit late. You guys don't see this, but every time I mute my mic when Owen's talking, I'm coughing up a storm. I'm like sniffing on that Vicks. You know what Vicks is,
yeah, the
bro?
gel.
Yeah, that is so OP. If you guys are sick, make sure you guys get Vicks. This is not a sponsor, but they better sponsor me for this, man. But anyways,
Yeah.
yeah, like I'm dying, bro. But I appreciate you guys for hanging in there a little bit and
Yeah,
waiting for this pod to come out.
prayers up for my boy Aray. He stuck
Hey, man.
around. Let's fucking get it, bro. It was a great show. Let's get it. Have a great day,
Lord,
guys.
man. Peace.
Peace.